All right. Happy Sunday Live, everyone. It's such a pleasure to have you join us, and really excited to introduce my co-host on the Sunday Live. We've been doing these for, I think, 6 years now, or coming up on, and I think this is the first time that we've introduced each other, but I want to introduce everyone to Gordana. So this is Gordana Biernat, my amazing, gracious, divine co-host on this Sunday Live, and she's an internationally recognized writer, speaker, and mentor. And she was handpicked by Oprah Winfrey as one of her Super Soul 100 teachers, and she helps leaders and seekers all over the world align with their inner truth and live with clarity and purpose. So honored, Gordana, to have you join me every Sunday. It's so fun. Thank you.
So honored to be here. And everyone, this is Lucas Mack. Not only is he a really good friend of mine, he's also a powerful TEDx speaker. He's an author and an entrepreneur, and he has turned his own life, story of overcoming hardship into a mission where he helps others and discover forgiveness and live with freedom and purpose. So you're a great friend of mine, Lucas, and I love our Sunday Live.
Yes.
Our topic today is it's time. It's who's the boss, you or time? And I think it's time to talk about time.
Yeah, I agree. The thing about time, two things. My life changed at 20 years old at my suicide attempt, and like you're going to share a story. I had this moment where I was flying off to go off a bridge into a river. Seatbelt was off, and a semi truck. All I heard was, and we moved, and I just I could see everything in that moment, and I don't want to hit the truck.
Yeah.
That was my first glimpse of whoa, time, it bent or moved or stretched, or I was hyper aware. And I've held on to this notion and realized that time is a created thing. There's something that is just as malleable as Play-Doh or clay at this thing of time, but I wasn't high enough or big enough to have perspective. I don't mean high as in drugs. I mean from a perspective of seeing what this was. And as I started my business and had success in that, and then had 3 children at the time, it was so busy and I was so stretched thin. And when I went to this emotional intelligence program, the co-owner of this leadership training, she said, everyone complains that their plate is full. She's like, I used to complain, my plate is full. I can't take another thing on. I have no more time, no more energy, no more bandwidth. And she goes, until I realized I just need a bigger plate. And when you said that, it blew my mind. So simple. Hello. Yeah. But also it was, again, it reminded me back in that time where it felt like time was malleable. All she needed was a bigger plate to feel like she could accomplish more within the time that she had. And that's when I realized time is all about perspective.
Yes, absolutely. It has to do, almost my entire life before I reached 30, I thought that time was one thing, linear, and it was moving forward. That was what time was. And I think that most of us think that time is something that is constant and it's moving forward.
Right.
Well, that's not the real truth, because time has 2 components. There is length. Of course, you are born and then you die and you age. So there's a sequence. Time has a linearity to it.
Yeah.
But there's also depth. And unless you understand that time is there's 2 components of time. The length of it, which you cannot change because that's the clock time. The Greeks would call this chronos. And then you have the depth of each single moment or each unit of time. How do you reach that depth? That is where you find the bigger bowl or the bigger plate.
Yes.
And it has it has to do with presence. It is very highly connected to awareness and presence. Now, every now moment contains everything there is. So that's the possibilities and the probabilities of every now moment. But if you only know about the linearity of time, which society teaches us very, very quickly, you have to learn the clock. As soon as you start going to school, you have to know what time is.
Yes.
I remember when I got my first watch and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, that's a nice piece of jewelry, but I don't know what to do with it.
Right.
Why would I need time to measure when I play? I don't get it. I couldn't grasp the concept of time then, because I, as a child, lived in the depth of time. I didn't understand the linearity of it. For me, time was circular at that time. So just understanding what is time, and that it has at least two components, where awareness is the connection between them. And we cannot separate ourselves from the linearity of time, because there is the clock time, Kairos, and we are in a physical body. Now, the clock time and the physical body are connected to each other because we age as the time ticks.
Yeah.
But so is ego. Ego is connected to the body, and the body is connected to time. So ego thrives in clock time. Ego doesn't know how to dive deep into the kairos, as it's called in Greek, the depth of time.
Yeah.
So how do we find those moments where we can experience the depth of time? Because in the depth of time lives poetry, art, creativity. It's almost like as if our brain was designed to experience both chronos and kairos, both, the clock time and the experience of time, the beautiful experience of time. So the right side of your brain is the one that calculates, that measures, and that's connected to chronos, clock time. Whereas the right side of your brain is the one that is creative, the one that seeks, imagination. And so you have to use both sides, but we are conditioned to use only one side. And if we come too late, or we don't understand the concept of time, as children don't do, we get scolded. So very, very quickly we learn how to fill our plate, because that's when people give us praise. And to come back to the experience of time, the first time that I really understood this concept that time is absolutely not what we think it is. There are other aspects of time, was in the car accident. So both you and me had this vision of a truck coming towards us. And I'm like looking at the truck and thinking, oh my God, I'm going to breathe my last breath. Do you hear how long it takes to say the sentence? I did not experience that time. Time did something where the truck seemed to come slower towards me, and I've been thinking about that very much. Now, why did the truck do that? Why did it slow down? What happened in my mind that the truck seemed to slow down? And nothing happened to the truck. What happened was that my awareness was broadened, because near life and death, between life and death, time loses it's the feeling of constant. When giving birth to a child, every woman who has given birth to a child will tell you that time gets very distorted. Very, very distorted. For me, I was giving birth to my son for 10 hours and it didn't feel like 10 hours. I literally do not know what I did during these 10 hours. My husband knows, but I don't. Because my awareness, we were in the same room, but my awareness was stretched out because of being between life and death all the time. So mortality has something to do with it. And maybe we can dive into it a little bit later in our program. But just understanding what time is from a higher perspective, and that there are two aspects, and that we need to get those two aspects closer to each other, not to escape the linearity of time and the clock time, but to experience it from a different perspective, to pause and to be more present in it. I think that is important when we start this Sunday Live.
Yeah, absolutely. When I started my career as a TV reporter and live on air, and anyone watching, you've never watched your local news or any national news broadcast that they start the show saying, well, sorry, everyone, we didn't get our work done tonight and we didn't get our stories. So there's nothing to say tonight. No one has ever experienced that because of the pressure and the intensity be off camera to deliver exact time. And so I learned, and so that suicide attempt at 20, and then by 22, I'm working on live TV and I'm hearing countdown of 10, 9, 8, 7, and I'm hearing this, and I started to understand what time feels like in a measured, aware sequence. So I'd always hear they go 5, 4, and you start to feel it. Well, that was when I was an audience coordinator for a live talk show. Then when I went on air as a TV reporter, same thing. They're, all right, you're live in 10 seconds. We're going to toss you. And I started to feel it, not get stressed out about it, just feel it to the point now where I'm like, oh, we have 1 minute. I know exactly what can be accomplished in 1 minute, how 1 minute feels. It's an eternity. When I just sat back and let time exist, and I didn't feel the pressure of I have to be in the time, but time existed and I was outside of it. It felt like I was stretching 1 minute to an hour. And to this day, I do not get stressed out about time. Time does not stress me out. And so I've played with this observation and I talk to my employees now and my team members of, you can feel time. And I want us all, and I teach them about counting 10 seconds, 10, 9, 8. And all of a sudden, as you hear it, and the cadence goes in front of you, it separates. And I'm saying, think of what you can do in 10 seconds. You can do so much that do not stress. You will always get the work done. Well, with that, I have really gone down this whole, like the time bender. There's all these sci-fi movies like Doctor Strange, they're, I think, telling us that time exists outside of us, and we can either choose to jump into that current that will move us linear, like you're saying in Chronos, or return back to an observer. And what I've come to realize is that I've said many times, it feels like time's moving so fast. It seems like these years are just flying by. The older we get, the faster time feels. But when we were kids, time felt a summer, felt forever. And I realized that the more we get in our heads and live in our heads, and our brain gets hijacked into this current of time. But if we can return like little children, if somehow we can, children are just observers. They don't know everything, so they're observing everything, and we think we know everything, so we no longer observe anything. And I think that's the journey, that if we can return back to being the observer of time, time will feel way more vast and malleable again, versus people living in constant stress that time is a force moving them versus them playing with time.
Yes. And here's the thing, you can't jump out of time, because then you need to jump out of yourself, and you can't do that. You are connected to time. You're connected to Chronos time, because you have a birth date and you have a expired date, so to speak. So in between, there is Chronos time, and it is linear and it is observable, which means that you can count the minutes, you can count the seconds, you can count the days, you can count anything you want. It will be exact measurement. So it's outside of you. The measurement of it is outside of you, but time isn't outside of you, because you exist in time. So the question is, how do you open up for the content of that measurement? You fill it with content. So as you say, when you count, you say 5, 4. You can fill it with breath in between, and it becomes a moment of relaxation. You can fill it with holding your breath and thinking fearful thoughts, and it becomes a moment of total stress. But again, it comes back to you. So you can explore the beauty wherever you are. It's like in the Time Benders and Doctor Strangelove. You open up a portal where beauty is accessible to you. You can literally find it there because you choose so in every now moment. And it takes you a split second to do this. So it's a question of understanding what power your presence has over time. You can't escape time. Doesn't work that way. You have to be there. It's like escaping your ego. You can't do that either because it's a part of your experience here. And time is connected to ego. So it's not about fighting time. It's about flowing with time and deciding where you want to stop the boat and look at the scenery.
That's so good. Yeah.
You're the one doing it. I was making bread the other day. And I realized that, all right, so bread takes an hour to rise. The dough needs an hour to rise. And I was late because we wanted to have it for dinner, and I started too late. So I was a little bit stressed out over this. And I'm like, oh my God, an entire hour. Everything's going to be ruined. It's going to be late, blah, blah, blah. I don't have the time. And then I just stopped and I told myself the dough needs an hour. I can't change that. That's the way the cookie crumbles. The dough needs an hour to rise.
Yeah.
How can I fill that hour? So I told my husband, you know what? Let's have a glass of wine in our garden and just sit and talk. So we filled that hour with a beautiful conversation.
I love that.
Instead of stressing out because dinner wouldn't be on time, it doesn't matter. You can fill that hour with pleasant time instead of filling it with worry. That's where the key is, how you fill every now moment.
Yeah.
I've started doing another thing, when I think that, oh my God, I'm too late, instead of saying, I won't have the time, I'll be late, this is not going to work for me, I breathe, I stop. In that stress, I just stop. And then I breathe and I say, I have all the time in the world.
That's right.
Very, very calmly, I tell myself, I have all the time in the world. Because when you think of it, I have the time to breathe 2 times a year.
Yeah.
And that's how I elongate the time, or I stretch time in a way.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
Well, I think anytime that I can take a breath, it's the same feeling of, and that's what I meant. Like I can feel seconds. I really, even right now, I know exactly what seconds feel like. And every TV, this is not unique to me. This would be every person who's worked in live television feels this. And it really makes a second feel long, a long time. That if we can, and I think because you have to stay present and get the work done, you can't stress out like, oh, and you can't fumble it. Like we're cutting things and send right before they toss to us. That's how close things get. But it's not ruling over us. And so I think that breath and observing makes it feel long.
Yes. When you think that time is ruling you, that equals ego has taken possession of your perception. So when you think that I have no time, ego is telling you this because your soul knows your soul is connected to eternity. And that's the portal to eternity. Every now moment is eternal.
Right.
So the minute you feel like I have no time, of course, we have schedules. That's natural. We do have schedules, but we don't need to stress about them. We can manage the things between the time limits that we have set upon ourselves with what we fill that time with.
Yes.
And even if you say you have 2 minutes, you could find something beautiful to focus on, or just breathe, or just be in that moment. Find that moment of stillness, because it helps you later on in the day. It won't push you into more rush, more stress, more of the illusion of not having time. Because the only thing you have in this world is time. That is what you were given. With your first breath, time was given to you.
Yeah. So good. There was a quote. There was a few quotes I wanted to read to that point William Penn, where the United States gets one of our largest states, Pennsylvania, is named after William Penn. He said, time is what we want most, but what we use worst. And I thought,
Yes.
what an interesting observation is most people just don't use the time that they, and I heard this is like in motivational videos, that every person has the same 24 hours. So look at all the other people that accomplish way more with the same amount of time given. And that's always fascinated me. Well, how can they produce so much? And I think it's because they have a different relationship with time. And I wanted to learn what that relationship with time was. And for me, and I think a lot of times when we have these Sunday lives, it feels like separating, becoming the observer. But really, that is the key, to be an observer of time versus feeling like I am inside time. I'm not inside time.
Yeah, and not just an observer of time, because when you observe time, you see things passing you as a sequence. But if you become more present, you also understand that you live in time and that you can expand every now moment, just the way you did when you started counting.
Yes.
It's the expansion of it. You know, when you sometimes do things that you love and you feel like time just flew by, 5 minutes went by, and you look at your clock and it's like, you look at your watch and it's like 5 hours.
Yeah.
And you don't get, where was I during these 5 hours?
Right.
Well, you tapped into eternity,
Mm.
which made you age less than the people around you, because they are not tapped into eternity.
Right.
Eternity gives you more life force. It gives you more flow in life. And this is why when you look at people who love what they do, who love their life, who feel like life is filled of possibilities, they are always extending time by being in the depth of it, which means that they don't age as fast. It is the people that are, in the habitual way of life, like going to work, coming back, being depressed, being resentful because they're not doing what they love. When you look at them, they lack life force.
Yes.
That is because they're outside of it. And time is connected to this. Time is like having a ruler, and you can count the measurement on the ruler.
Right.
But the ruler is yours to use. And how you use it is, how present are you? And how much of the things that you actually want to explore in your life, are you exploring? And I'm not talking about saying, well, I want to be on a yacht and I want to own this and I want to own that. That's not the kind of presence I'm talking about. I'm talking about being able to see the beauty wherever you are, being able to see the goodness and kindness wherever you vibe. Find that, because that is connected to eternity. That is connected to Kairos, the depth of time.
Yes.
And that's how you make things yours, how you own your own time. And that's why you also will remember that time much more. We don't remember, or every day seems identical, because it is. We are habitually living. We are scrolling. We're doing things that we don't want to do. Even if you're at a job, we've all done that. Some of us are still doing it.
Yeah.
And you don't like that job, but you can still, in that space, find things where you can find beauty. It's like I have a client, and he was talking about time and how he felt trapped in time. And he says, I feel like Nelson Mandela. I can only see the sky when I look up. There's no other way for me. And that is to feel trapped in time. At the same time, you own your mind, and you also own where you put your awareness and your presence. And that is the key. Wherever you are, you can still find beauty, and that beauty will bring you out of Chronos and into Kairos.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing how much power we actually have, but we are not using it. It's like the quote that you just said. Can you read the quote again?
Yeah, he said, time is what we want most, but what we use worst.
Yes, because we do not understand that it is a tool for our soul to experience physical reality.
Yeah.
But this tool is not rigid. If it were rigid, there wouldn't be any funny rush of a surprise. Life would be meaningless. The minute we can find the depth in every now moment, that is where we synchronistically connect to everything else. And that is where we are in awe and wonder and find miracles. All of that is in Chronos. It is embedded in time,
Yeah.
but it is up to us to dive deeper to find it, because it's not on the surface. On the surface, only ego touches the surface. So if we're in ego mode, we will be on the surface and we will never dive deep into the reality of time here, because it is endless. Every now moment is endless, and it's filled with everything, with all the beauty and all the presence and all the calmness that you would want. That's how we use time.
Yeah.
And I think that we don't know how to do this because we are drilled to be in Chronos.
Yeah. Yeah.
That works for society as a whole, because of course, if I say I will meet you at 3 o'clock, I need to be there at 3 o'clock. So it's an important aspect of life, but it's not the only aspect of life. There is so much more into this.
Right.
And breath, mindfulness, pausing, presence, and calmness are all keys to go a little bit deeper.
Yes.
Allow oneself to go deeper.
That's right. Benjamin Franklin, another quote that I wanted to read this morning. He said, you may delay, but time will not. And I was thinking about in the context of stretching and time bending and not being in it, but I really think we could take that quote and say, everyone listening to this can delay becoming the observer and presence and breath and mindfulness and calming, but time will not stop. So it's not that time will ever change itself. It's us that has to change time. It's us that has to do the work. And this takes accountability. This takes responsibility. This takes a little bit more of a warrior mindset, because another quote, I just want to say, the two most powerful warriors are patience and time. And I thought that's interesting. Leo Tolstoy said that. And I thought patience and time, the two most. So I think one, time's going to continue, and two, to have the patience and presence in the journey.
Yes. You know, Dostoevsky says, beauty will save the world. But unless you allow yourself to dive deep in the now moment, you will not find beauty.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we all need, what he's saying is to become present, to stop, to pause, to breathe, to not react, but to actually have patience and look is what saves the world. And that is the truth.
Yeah.
Because every moment contains this beauty that Dostoevsky is speaking about. It is connected to the depth of time. In every segment of time, there is beauty. And if you cannot see beauty unless you pause. Now, I saw beauty in the midst of a car accident with this little piece of glass that flew, and it turned white light into all the colors of the universe. And I saw it in the midst of all the chaos. There was immense beauty in this. Why did I see it? Because my awareness, I was in survival mode, and my brain connected everything because I needed to see a lot of things in order to save myself.
Yeah.
What happened with this, my total awareness in this created this extension of time.
Yeah.
And I could see that there is beauty because I took the time to see it, involuntarily, of course, because I didn't know how to create that.
Yeah.
But my body created it so that I could see this moment, which means that it is always there. If it would have been just a piece of glass flying by and I was doing my usual stuff, I would not be able to see it because I wasn't present in it. Now I was present and I was open. Of course, you can't go living your life as every moment being this open and
Right.
present.
Right.
But as soon as you have some time, use it. That's how you use it as a tool
Yes.
to
Yes.
connect to
Yes.
deeper experience of this reality, to a much deeper experience of this reality. So these people are right. They're writing poetry and
Yes.
quotes, but
Yes.
they are absolutely right because there is so much truth in it if you really think about it.
Yeah. It's interesting too, like the concept of time has always been in the popular culture narrative. I think in the West, like the Rolling Stones, right? Time is on my side. Yes, it is.
Yes.
That song. But they also write like a Rolling Stone, and or Bob Dylan writes like a Rolling Stone, which feels like you can't stop. And there's, I think this maybe it's the left and right brain constantly calling out for us to remember that we have both. It's the Chronos and Kairos, and
Yes.
this world. The more I observe of corporate culture, political, religious, governmental, like all this, it like forces the the binary.
Yes.
You're either this or that.
Yes.
You're either in time or you're out of time. And I think what consciousness is waking up to the and. It's this and it's that. It's never the duality. It's never duality.
No.
There's always
If it,
a third option or another option.
yeah, if it feels like the only option, then you're trapped in ego. I mean, when awareness is trapped in ego, that is when you feel rushed. That is when you feel that you're out of time. So that's a signal you're trapped in ego right now. And how do you untrap yourself from ego? Well, you start breathing and you allow your true self to be present. It's just opening. It's not like you need to figure things out. It's an opening, and you open by breathing.
Yeah.
That's also how you connect your heart to your brain.
Right.
Because without oxygen, your brain thinks, okay, we're dying here. So it becomes a trigger, an ego trigger, because ego wants you to survive. Oh, how it wants you to survive. So it starts stressing you out. And stress is actually to just experience time on the surface level, never going deep. That is where it is. So that's, if you feel like that, you know that, okay, my awareness is trapped in ego. How do I get out of this? Well, you look up at the sky.
Yeah.
Breathe, walk in nature, look at a child, start connecting to another type of frequency, a non-made frequency.
Yeah.
Don't scroll your phone, walk outside.
Yeah.
Vibe like a tuning fork with nature, with human beings who love you, where you can connect to them. That's how you start vibing on a different frequency and you open up. And that's beauty. Again, seek the beauty of that.
Yes.
Consciously do that. But ego is slippery. It will tell you, you have no time to walk in nature right now. Like this.
Yeah.
Time, you have to do this. It's on your schedule. People are forgiving. If you feel like, okay, this is too much for me, you can always say, this is too much. Can we reschedule? How many times have we rescheduled?
Yeah, right, right. Yes.
It's totally normal to do that if you feel that there is too much. And then you breathe, come back to yourself and restart.
Right, right.
That's not harder than that, really, truly.
I think that's what the gift of being a child and having childlike wonder truly is. And there's I'll reference this, that Jesus said, unless you become like a little child, you may not enter the kingdom of heaven.
Yes.
And I want to break these words down: king, sovereign, dumb, or dome. The sovereign covering of heaven is a conjunction word. Heart, HEA, and even. A balanced heart is heaven. So the sovereign covering of peace in the heart can only be found when we become childlike again, when we observe and don't feel the stress of time. Time
You
still
know,
exists for the child as it does for us. It's just awareness is different. That's the only difference.
yes, because I think that there is a self-sabotage in thinking that we know everything.
Yeah.
So we are not experiencing anything as if it were for the first time. A child does not know everything, so it is curious. And the
Mm,
curiosity relaxes it so that it can play and
mm,
find out. We
yeah.
never do that.
Yeah, that's
We
cool.
just think, I know this, or I need to know this, and then we go Google it, and then we know it, and then we
Yeah.
just act it out. There's no playfulness, there is no innocence in it.
Right.
And
Right.
again, for me, innocence and beauty are very connected.
Mm,
Innocence and beauty, innocence is such a beautiful frequency, but
mm,
we're never in it because we think we know everything, and that is ego screaming. So if you look at a sunset and you think you know everything about the sunset, you will not experience that sunset fully. You need to be innocent as a child, allowing God to show
mm,
you this wonder, which
yeah.
happens every day, by the way, but not one sunset is identical to the other. So you can't say, I know how it looks like.
Right.
I don't
Right.
need to see a sunset because I've seen one.
Mm.
Hello, that is absolutely an ego way of thinking.
Yeah.
So even if you've done something before, you could still walk into this with wonder and curiosity.
Mm,
And that's how you find the depth in that moment. This is why children do this all the time, because they don't understand any other way of doing it. It
mm,
is we who impose upon them other ways of exploring this reality. And also, if they don't know something, we will scold them.
hmm,
I was very, very
hmm.
observant of that with our son. I really wanted him to explore reality on his terms, not in a sense that I didn't tell him what's dangerous and not dangerous.
Yeah.
I was there for him, but I was in awe how he explored reality. It's almost like a scientist,
Mm,
only a playful one. You
mm.
know, he doesn't know anything about it, so he tries.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trial and error all the time. And it's a game, it's a play. It gives him a funny rush of a surprise. And he's always pushing that funny rush of a surprise.
Mm,
And I thought, why am I not living this way?
yeah.
Because I think I know everything about reality. And I actually do not know anything, because everything is the first time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You and I have had this Sunday live talk how many times? I don't even know, but
I don't
not
know.
as this. This is
Right. This is new.
now.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
new and now.
Yeah.
It cannot be anything
That's
else.
right.
So just being open.
I love it. And Greg said, what a wonderful subject time. Time is our friend, not our enemy, isn't it? And
Yes,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I think we are birthed into a system that tries to extrapolate all the ability of our curiosity and wonder and
Yes.
creation, and it
Mhm.
siphons it into this stream and feeds a machine
Yes.
that is inorganic. And when we
Yes.
reclaim, you know what I mean? Like when we
Yes.
reclaim our curiosity, our wonder, our breath, our presence, our play, our kindness, we become this, the subject of today was who's the boss? We become the boss.
Yes.
We are the boss again.
Absolutely.
We are the boss again.
Yeah, listen, time can never be the boss, because then it is to say that ego is the ruler here.
Bingo. Yes.
Ego cannot be the ruler here. And, time is elastic, because consciousness, not ego, is
Yeah.
the true ruler of experience. Consciousness is. The
Mm,
observer in you is the true ruler of experience.
mm,
Without consciousness, no experience.
yeah.
Ego is a tool that consciousness or your soul uses in order to explore limited edition of reality, which is this.
Mm,
So how can ego be the ruler of experience? ego can tell you that it is the ruler of time because it rushes you and stresses you and says you have to be on time.
Yeah.
That's one part of it. But the owner of this is the observer, the soul, the
Right.
kairos of all this.
That's right. And
That's the owner of it. Yeah.
yes, that's
Go
why
ahead.
and is so important.
Mhm.
I
Yes.
everyone listening, I used to be in Christianity very strongly. So I use references of what I've come from, not sending anyone in that anymore. But one of the things that I used to say is the most ignored word in our existence, and specifically in the Bible, when I was, give these teachings, is the word and. It's the most ignored word.
Yeah.
And I think it's ignored because if we discover and unlock the power of and, everything changes for us. It can be this and that. And, we're set up with, in the United States, for instance, two political parties, left and right, coast and mid, flyover. So like it's always dividing. But when we can reclaim Kairos and Chronos, the depth and the width, we reclaim the word that we say so often, our sovereignty, and we become that innocent beauty again.
Absolutely. It's understanding that there are two aspects, even more than two aspects, but understanding that and you're at the crux of it all.
Yeah.
You're the one deciding which aspect of time you want to explore right now. Do you want to explore the clock time, which is totally okay because we have to do that. We are human beings and this is how we interact with each other. Also, it is a constant, in quotation marks, it is a constant in time and space. It is one of those time and space, and that is what we're here to explore. So you can't erase that. You have to, I don't know, die if you want to erase it.
Yeah.
But if you are in a physical body and you're having a human experience, then clock time is one of those experiences and you cannot erase it. But there is an opportunity, a tool to use that in order to explore deeper realities through time.
Yes, that's so good.
So you have access to the deeper realities in every single second of your life, every single second. And as I said, you can't go around living like that 24 hours a day. But as soon as you feel stressed out, when you feel that there are no options, there's only one option. Know that ego has blindfolded you and it has connected you to clock time and it rushes and stresses you. You're the boss and you can jump out of that stress, not out of time, but out of stress. And then you can use the God-given tool to extend time with your presence in the exact way as you described it when you said 5, 4, 3. It's a long time. It almost stresses me out to count this slow.
Yeah.
Just counting this slow is like, oh, I need to stress this because we have no time. This is how smart ego is. It just uses it to show you need to stress, and you don't. You're the boss of it. You own both these axes.
Yes. It's so good.
Both of them are yours. And we could have talked about time management, how you can, schedule in a better way. But I think this is a higher understanding of time will help you to find your own ways to reschedule in your calendar so that you give yourself moments where you can explore time on a deeper level.
That's right.
Before we end, I want to share a visual or an image of how you can perceive this. Every morning when you wake up, God gives you a bowl and says, this is today. And it's empty. It is up to you to fill this bowl with your experiences. Now, of course, we do have things we have to do. We have to work. We have to, make dinner. We have to go to the gym. All of these things are there. And that's the first thing we put in the bowl.
Yeah.
Habitually, we put them in the bowl because this is our life. This is how it looks like. Now, where we can make a difference is to think about the small time units that we're putting into the bowl.
Mm.
Are they aligned with who we are? Are they aligned with what we need? Are they aligned with what we want? Are they aligned with beauty, love,
Right.
all of these higher, softer frequencies? And that's up to us to put that in the bowl. Because at night, God will empty it. And then in the morning, he comes with a new bowl and he says, what do you want to fill it with?
Yeah.
And he does this 365 days every year of your life.
Yeah.
That's how kind God is, actually.
Yeah, that's right.
Or
That's right.
your source or universe, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, right.
Because he gives you a chance every single morning to wake up and say, I want to put some love here. Where do I find time for love here? And it's available in every second of the day.
Yes. It's so good.
I mean, listen to this. It's available in every second of the day to find beauty, rest, calmness, and love every single second of the day.
Mm.
It is there underneath the surface of clock time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Diving deep into it to get it. It's like fishing for pearls. You have to go there.
Yeah, that's right.
Deep. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. Thank you for this amazing
Me too,
conversation and discussion. And everyone, thank you for watching. Greg and Amjad and everyone who's watched. Thank you. Sending you all love, and we'll see you on the next Sunday Live.
We will. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.